Brian Walsh, the accused wife killer, the fraudster who snapped when his wife found out who he really was, a low-life piece of shit, was brutally stabbed in the face right before he went to trial for the murder of his wife. He survived as he was hit with a makeshift broomstick that went in his head, eye, ear, gums, where prosecutors would say, was this a hit? And if the weapon was made any better, he'd be dead. The incident would take place in a protective custody unit just 5 minutes before lockdown of the night, where no inmates can enter, leave, or go anywhere until breakfast. However, he made so many enemies along this journey that it could have been anybody. Let's get into it. This piece of shit here, Brian Walsh, will be stabbed in the face multiple times in his protective custody unit. He's accused of killing his wife and dismembering her. The prosecutor will go on to say, you don't know if there's someone who had a relationship with his wife Anna and sent him a message. We are watching you. We're waiting. However that would play out, you just don't know, the prosecutor would say. Also, Boston attorney Peter Ellikin tells me that the attack on Walsh raised disturbing questions about the security at the jail. How do you have an inmate deciding to be the judge and give the death penalty to somebody? Well, the same way you have this piece of shit who killed his wife allegedly after she found out he's a fraudster selling fake paintings on eBay, murk her. I mean, you know, that's the way the universe works. Let's get back to it. So Brian Walsh, the calm man before the murder. Before Anna Walsh vanished, her husband Brian was already branded a liar and a thief. In 2018, he was caught selling fake Andy Warhol paintings. He strung buyers along, pocketed hundreds of thousands of dollars until he was finally forced to plead guilty. In 2022, the sentence came down, 3 years, 9 months in federal prison, and nearly $500,000 in restitution. Which I find crazy, right? I rob drug dealers and I'm gone for my entire 20s. This dude robs people for millions and millions of dollars. He's on bond and able to go home, does a little 2 years, and kills his wife. Anna knew. She even wrote a letter to the court calling Brian a good father to their young 3 boys. But as we see so often behind that letter, their marriage was falling apart. By late 2022, friends said Anna wanted to leave Brian. There were whispers that she was seeing another man. Meanwhile, Brian was under federal house arrest, financially ruined, cornered by his fraud conviction, and losing control of the only thing he thought he still had, his family. Now I look at that a little differently. I look at a narcissistic piece of shit that has been manipulating people forever. And once the veil has been lifted and he's been exposed, that lifestyle that he had with his wife and all these lies, the house of cards came tumbling down. And when you take that mask off a narcissist, they run, they hide, they blame, they shame, and they kill. Prosecutors would later argue this was motive, jealousy, desperation, and the need to control Anna at all costs. And also, I guarantee she had that life insurance policy. He can't go on life knowing that he's a scam artist, broke piece of shit, that his wife left him for another man because he's a loser. No, he needs to be a victim and still be able to support his lifestyle. But as we know, the predators become victims in prison. January 1st, 2023, Anna's disappearance. Anna never boarded her New York Day flight to Washington, D.C. She vanished. The investigation revealed chilling evidence. Brian's Google searches. How to dismember a body. How long before a body smells? Hacksaw, best tool? Not only that, he did it on his own son's iPad. Surveillance footage of him buying mops, buckets, tarps, a bloody knife in their basement, a hacksaw with bone fragments, a blood-soaked rug, Anna's clothes and jewelry dumped in the trash. To the prosecutors, the story was clear. Brian killed, dismembered, incinerated his wife. Her body would never be recovered. Yet, this is where things get even more twisted. Enter Trooper Brian Proctor, piece of shit, corrupt cop, like most of them are. Not all of them, but most of them. Go look up his record and see what other cases he's linked to. Proctor isn't clean. His name is tied with the Karen Reed case, another Massachusetts trial accused of corruption and misconduct. Yet, here he is, still serving trials, still putting people away for life and helping people either get free from murder or convicted of murder. Okay, if you lie under oath in a civil case, they're gonna lock your ass up until the case is over. This dude just makes a career off of it. Defense attorneys know If they can shed Proctor's credibility, they can make the entire case against Walsh look poisoned. That's why Proctor is such a flashpoint. His reputation could decide whether Brian Walsh walks or rots. Let's keep it real. The fact that this piece of shit officer, corrupt, just piece of shit, who has been found guilty of corruption, is under investigation for more corruption, is still allowed to testify on life sentences, death penalty cases. Come on, man. What does that tell y'all? Facts are like this. If you believe something's crazy in the world, they call you a conspiracy theorist. But if the feds want to lock you up for your life, they give you with them conspiracy charges. Just something to think about. Anyway, September 11th, 2025, the stabbing. With the trial just weeks away, Brian Walsh himself became the victim. Time and place, 9:55 p.m. inside a pre-trial housing unit, right before inmates would be locked in for the night. He would be hit in the face with a sharpened broomstick, crudely made. Officials described it only as a makeshift instrument. The assault was caught on all jailhouse surveillance cameras in the area. The stabbing did not kill Brian Walsh because the weapons were poorly made, but the intent was clear. The blows targeted vulnerable areas of the face and the head, his eyes, gums, nose, and skull. Had the broomstick been more refined, the attack could have been an execution-level fatal. Official injuries was that he was struck repeatedly in the face, the mouth, the gum, nose, and around the eyes. His head was bashed up, leaving him bruised, scratched, and bloodied. So as I stated before, the weapon was not well crafted. So instead of penetrating, the strikes left deep bruises, abrasions, and swelling. Either the person didn't want to kill him, or the weapon was so shitty made that they were just hurting him, not knowing that if they made it any more sharper and hit certain organs, those blows could have been easily fatal. Walsh was conscious when the officers pulled him out. He'd be rushed to outside medical, which I find strange because whenever in prison you get stabbed or hurt really bad, they take you to outside medical. But if you just get hit and it's superficial, they take you to the infirmary, give you Advil and water, send you back to confinement, and go on about your day. Even the prosecutor asked in court, was that a revenge attack tied to Anna's murder? And the fact that it happened in protective custody raised serious questions. How did another inmate get to him in a supposedly secure unit? Was this a setup, a lapse in security, or a sanctioned hit? And of course, media highlighted it's probably just a random act of violence. Yet Brian's attorney, Peter Alakin, has said the stabbing could delay the trial scheduled for October 20th, 2025, because he needs to recover from his injuries and the psychological trauma. And will it affect the way he performs in court? Damn, here it is. You have a fraudster who scams people out of millions of dollars. Wife just can't take it anymore, realizes she's had kids with one of the worst type of people in the world, and she needs to go. She needs to escape. She's making more money than him, so that crushed his soul. So instead of being a man and saying, look, I fucked up, I gotta take my time, and whatever happens, happens, just take care of the kids, stash some money away, whatever it is. Nope, he can't handle that. He's shown he's a coward. He kills her, throws her in the incinerator, done. Doesn't care about the children. He's literally on their iPad finding out ways to hide the body. Then gets to jail, and a corrupt officer under investigation by the feds for corrupt investigations that he's done on other criminals is the lead investigator. And this dude gets stabbed up in protective custody with the prosecutor saying this might be a hit. Welcome to the American justice system. It's fucking crazy. I'm going to keep tabs on this case. Stay out, stay free, us.